Greetings, y'all. I want to talk about one of the most under talked about Halloween events in the United States. In fact, I've never heard anybody even talk about this before even going out to this event. I'm sure the locals probably talk about it a lot, but in terms of Halloween fans or just coaster enthusiasts, not a single buzz. But let me tell you, when I visited this park for its Halloween event, it was my first time ever visiting this park, and the park was great, but the Halloween event, I was absolutely floored. So much so that to this day, it is still my favorite Halloween event at any park that I've done. And yes, that does include the fact that I did last year's Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Orlando Resort. So take that as you may. I feel like a lot of people disagree, especially those that have actually been to Worlds of Fun's Halloween Haunt, which is what we're talking about today. But yes, in my opinion, this is the best Halloween event at any amusement slash theme park that I have been to in the United States, and we're going to talk about it today. The biggest disclaimer I'm going to get right then and there is I have not been to this event since 2019. This review is long overdue. In fact, I never even got to post my park visit to this. If you guys do want to see that, let me know by telling me in the comments down below, and I'll definitely post that as kind of a retro video per se. But yes, that is my biggest disclaimer. However, I will say I did do a little bit of research going into it just by looking up videos and stuff like that, and the quality of the event looks just as where it was in 2019. So in my opinion, this review is still valid, and I really hope that after this video, some of you do think about going to this park for this event. And if you guys have been to this park for Halloween Haunt, let me know in the comments down below what are your thoughts, if you agree with me, if you disagree, because I know we're all over the place with it, but still, this is my personal favorite Halloween event, and let's go ahead and jump right into it. I went on a very busy Saturday. It was absolutely crowded, so I got a fright lane. I was able to do everything, but I'm just going to kind of walk you through the experience a little bit. So you just start off, first of all, with a doggone parade. There is a whole parade of all the characters from all the mazes, all the scare zones. I didn't see where it starts, but eventually it leads to the kind of the front area. There's this little like front circle, and there's a little stage with a little castle where the whole ceremony for the opening takes place. But still, this is the first time I've ever been to a park that ever had a Halloween Haunt style parade, which was really fun to kind of kick off the evening. And then the whole ceremony begins. It started off with the Overlord just rising up, and just this huge thing just lifted him up. The cloak covered the whole thing, so it just looked like this 20-foot tall man. It was so cool. I love the makeup on him too, and he just basically kicked off Halloween Haunt.
Seek the souls of those inside. You cannot run. You cannot hide.
And throughout the ceremony, he's just basically calling out all the mazes and scare zones, stuff like that. And then we get to something really cool, and the Wicked Witch of the West and of the East show up, because we are in Kansas City after all.
We'll get you, my pretties, and your little dog, too!
I like that little touch because it felt like this is unique to Worlds of Fun. It's like, you know how you go to Halloween Horror Nights to get those cool Universal IPs and stuff like that, or you go to Mickey's Not So Scary for just the family-friendly attire and stuff like that. I like that Worlds of Fun had it's like its own DNA of like, we're going to have the Wicked Witch of the West and the East because, you know, Wizard of Oz, that's kind of what Kansas City, we're not in Kansas anymore kind of thing. It's so just that little detail is so cool, and it was a blast having them there.
Now rise, my children of haunt. Tonight we desecrate Worlds of Fun with more blood, terror, and gore than ever before. All you fear is here.
So after that, it was time for the mazes. And holy smokes. Like most mazes that I've been to, probably no more than 2 minutes long, maybe around 5 minutes long. You know, short, sweet, pretty cool, stuff like that. These are 10 minutes long. I'm not even joking. These are some of the longest mazes I have ever done. In fact, some of them might even be longer than the Halloween Horror Nights mazes, which some of those can be quite long. I was beyond impressed. Most of the mazes that I did are actually still happening now. The only one that I seem to not see anymore was the Chaos Laboratories, which was the first one I did. This thing was absolutely insane. I mean, here's my reaction of it.
Oh my gosh. Words cannot describe how amazing this maze is. That is one of the best mazes I have ever done. That was insane. It was long, it was crazy, and there's things I just was not expecting that put a smile on my face.
I was beyond floored. It was so long. It was full of mirrors, smoke, strobe, a bunch of lighting effects, and I was just jaw dropped. I was like, what? This is a thing? This is awesome. And that was only the tip of the iceberg for what I was about to experience. All the mazes here are absolutely incredible with some great characters, some great theming, and great length. I mean, they went all over the place. Blood on the Bayou was a literal mansion walking up and down multiple levels. In fact, I think it's the Lore of the Vampires one. That one went underground. Legit, we went underground. They had managed to use part of the old Orient Express roller coaster, and they just went, oh, we're going underground into a tunnel, and there were some great scares in this one. The Cornstalkers maze, which I now believe is Abyss, is their only outdoor maze, and that was super fun. That Cornstalkers was really through the woods. It's in between or in the centerpiece of the Nile River Rapids ride, I believe, if I recall. I know it's near there. That was completely in the forest. That was insanely long. That was a lot of fun. But I think the star show, besides the vampire one, which is really cool, was what was called the McDonald's Slaughterhouse. Now it's just called Bloodshed, but I assume just by looking at it, it feels very similar. Holy smokes, what a maze. That is wow, that is so much fun, and there were some great scares. I mean, every maze for the most part had some fantastic jump scares that got me on every corner. There was just some incredible theming, and like I said, I've already mentioned enough, but the length was absolutely nuts because most mazes are 5 minutes long, and they're very decorative, and then okay, cool. But it's just like it kept going. It's like, oh my gosh, we're never ending. We're really stuck in this maze, and I love every second of it. And maybe it's because I didn't know much about this event going into it, so I apologize in advance if this is all spoilers to you, but I just really think people need to experience this event because, oh my gosh, like, Cedar Fair parks in general, I've been to some of the Halloween events, and they're absolutely awesome. I love Kings Dominion. I grew up going to that haunt. I did Dorney Parks recently, and that's a lot of fun, but I was just not prepared for how insane this one is and the level of detail. I've never been to Knott's Scary Farm, and it's one of my bucket list Halloween events I have to do, but for now, I mean, this is the crown jewel right here, so I heavily recommend checking out this event. Also, the scare zones are pretty cool too. Most parks too will usually focus solely on the mazes, and the scare zones usually don't do it. Some parks that I know have really good scare zones though, or like King's Dominion, have some fantastic scare zones. These are pretty good too, actually, and they were expanding a very long length, but there was a lot of scare zones, and the actors were just awesome at their role. Unfortunately, I did not get to see any shows, so I don't know how the shows are here, besides, of course, the opening ceremony and the parade, but I just overall had a blast. I mainly focused on the scare zones and the mazes and kind of what you're seeing here. So once again, if you do want to see this old outdated footage from 2019, let me know and I'll gladly post it because it's some good stuff, and I'll only do it if you guys are curious. But that'll do it for my review of Halloween Haunt at Worlds of Fun. I really like this event, and I really recommend anybody check it out. It is absolutely phenomenal. If you have checked it out, let me know in the comments down below what you think about it. I'm really curious. I hope I'm not the only one that was floored by this event or really enjoys it. Once again, I never heard anything about it, and even I talked to some enthusiasts when I visited Worlds of Fun several years ago, and they were shocked that even I said this is one of my favorite events. So who knows? I may be just crazy, and that's totally fine, but I'm really curious. It's such a fun event. If you have not been to it, you have to go. Just go. Book it. If you can't do it this year, I highly recommend checking it out sometime soon if you can, because it is worth every moment of it. Absolute blast. But thank you guys so much for watching this Halloween review on Halloween Haunt at Worlds of Fun. Yes, I did visit in 2019, but like I said, I looked at some of the footage, looked very similar to how it was back then. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did make it to the end of this video and you enjoyed it, please give this video a big old thumbs up. It helps my channel out as I'm trying to continue and grow this channel. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, why not? You might as well do so. If you want to, hit the notification bell icon. That way you can stay up to date on all the posts. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, Roller Coaster Fanatic, keep coasting.